Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, October 9, 2024. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you guys like the video. I'd really appreciate it if you guys get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems, that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the weather has been like in your area recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so let us take a look at the U.S. National Hurricane Center's 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook. And we can see that as of their latest update that just came out at 7:56 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:56 p.m. Jamaica time, so about an hour ago, we still have Hurricane Milton right there off the west coast of Florida. To the east of Milton, we still have that area that has a low chance of development over the next 7 days. To the southeast of that system, we still have Hurricane Leslie. And to the east of Leslie, we still have that system right there off the west coast of Africa that has a low chance of development as it pushes towards the northwest. If we take a look at the infrared satellite images of the Atlantic, we can actually make out all of these entities. We have Milton's clouds right here across the southeastern United States. Florida definitely getting nailed as we speak. We have the clouds associated with that system that has a low chance of development within the next 7 days right there. And to the southeast of that, we still have Hurricane Leslie, still quite the formidable hurricane. And to the east of Leslie, we have that tropical wave coming off of Africa that has a low chance of development. Let's focus our attention on the big story, which is Hurricane Milton. Still packing maximum sustained winds of 120 miles per hour. And we know that represents major hurricane status. Still, we know that major hurricanes are basically anywhere from category 3 to category 5. And considering that it's packing 120 miles per hour winds, it's somewhere right in there. We know that category 3 basically has winds of 111 to 129 miles per hour. So it's right there in the middle. Definitely a medium or mid-range category 3 hurricane as we speak. Still a major hurricane in general. And that is what is bearing down on Florida as we speak. And we can make out the tropical storm force winds in the brown or in the gold colors, if I'm not mistaken. The darker browns right here represents the hurricane force winds, definitely getting ready to come inland across western Florida. We still have hurricane warnings up in the red for the entire Florida Peninsula. Well, for this section in the middle, while we have more so tropical storm warnings for the southern portion of Florida, right there along the Big Bend, and even the Georgia coast, as well as the South Carolina coast right there, even spilling into portion of the northern Bahamas with the tropical storm warning in blue. And we know the hurricane warnings are in red. So we see that it's expected to continue moving towards the east-northeast. Right now, moving towards the east-northeast at 15 miles per hour. And it's expected to downgrade. As of right now, it's still an M, but it's going to be downgrading back to an H that represents hurricane status, anywhere from category 1 to category 2. Then as it exits the Florida coastline, it's going to become a tropical storm, downgrading in strength by 2 p.m. on Thursday, then maintaining that strength all the way up until it is to the south of Bermuda, when it's expected to become a tropical depression, downgrading in general by Sunday into Monday. If we take a look at the latest infrared satellite images of Milton, we can start to see all of those high cold clouds being sheared off towards the northeast by that upper level wind shear that we all know was coming. That was what was going to be responsible for the deterioration of the system's strength. We didn't expect the system to be a category 5 or a category 4 by the time it gets into Florida, but we can still see that a lot of bad weather is coming in. We can see the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the blacks, the grays. We can see the pinks even all the way in there, heading into portions of Tampa, definitely getting in on some bad weather as we speak. And if we actually match what we're seeing here on the infrared satellite images to what we're seeing on the Doppler radar images, let's find the Doppler radar. You know, Doppler radar images show the actual rainfall, and we can have rainfall over an area, and it's not really showing on the satellite images. Sometimes we have cloud cover over an area and not necessarily rainfall. This is why the Doppler radar images are so important. Hopefully the Jamaican Doppler radar is fixed soon. But we can see here that from earlier today, this is as of what, 2:50 p.m. we can see the bands associated with Milton coming in. Look at all of these yellows, oranges, and reds that represent some heavy rainfall, and we know that there's a lot of strong winds within that tropical storm force wind, hurricane force winds as well. And we can start to see the center coming inland, definitely making landfall as we speak. And we can also see that the southern portions, not that bad at all in terms of rainfall, but I'm sure that they're definitely getting in on some strong winds in there across portions of the southwestern Florida coastline right there. So the areas that are getting the brunt of the thunderstorms and strong winds as we speak, definitely portion of Tampa, Spring Hill right there, and all of this is expected to move east northeastward towards Orlando in general. So definitely gonna be a stormy night as we head into Thursday. And as stated, look how huge the tropical storm force wind field is. The entire Florida is getting in on that, which explains why the entire Florida is under a tropical storm watch, if not a hurricane warning. And we can definitely see the track that it took, starting here, quite the unusual path. We know we're used to more of an east to west path with the high pressure ridges as usual, but this was a rare event, even although something like this has happened before when we actually check the records in the past. So it's not like it's anything new. Maybe it's new for persons in our generation because they haven't seen it like this. But these things do happen, and even more given the rise in global temperature. So we can see it right here, starting in the western Gulf of Mexico, pushing eastward, then east southeastward, then back towards the northeast, and basically on track, just as predicted, to hit the west coast of Florida. The models are spot on because we've been getting this for the forecast since it was in the western portions of the Gulf of Mexico. So it's safe to say that these supercomputer models are doing their thing, and the National Hurricane Center definitely working with these supercomputer models, getting all of the data flying into these systems and then inputting all of that data into the models for even more accurate predictions. And we're indeed grateful for that. We can see that with Milton, there's still a lot more heavy rainfall to come. We can see the greens, the yellows, the oranges, representing anywhere from 1 all the way up to 8 inches of rainfall still to come. A lot of rainfall has already fallen, which explains why it doesn't look as robust as it did in yesterday's video. Still a lot more rainfall to come as we head into Thursday, so there's a lot of flash flooding coming soon. Switching gears now, let's talk about the other system across the waters of the Atlantic to the east of Milton. According to the Hurricane Center, showers and thunderstorms associated with a gale force non-tropical low pressure system located a few hundred miles southwest of Bermuda remain disorganized. In addition, the circulation is becoming increasingly elongated as environmental conditions become less favorable for any tropical or subtropical development. The low is expected to continue moving east-northeastward, passing to the south of Bermuda tonight into Thursday. Additional information on this system, including gale warnings, can be found in high seas. And we said they've given the system both a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days as well as within the next 7 days. Let's switch gears and talk about Hurricane Leslie now. So we can see that as of their latest update, she's packing maximum sustained winds of 90 miles per hour. She's moving towards the northwest at 9 miles per hour. So we can see her right here. The tropical storm force wind field isn't even that strong, but as of right now, definitely pushing northwestward. Then it's expected to push northward and then northeastward, downgrading back to a tropical storm as early as Friday morning, and then pushing towards the far east northeast, possibly, maybe, affecting the Azores Islands right here, or passing just to the south of there. Who knows? We'll see how that goes as we head from Sunday into Monday, maybe downgrading back to a tropical depression by that time. We can see the clouds here associated with Hurricane Helene. Definitely quite the formidable hurricane. We saw that she was definitely being sheared earlier this week. But we can definitely see that outline, clouds fanning out, kind of looking or having that buzzsaw like shape. We can even make out the center somewhere in here at the last frame. All the high cold cloud tops, the yellows, the oranges, the reds, the blacks, the grays. Definitely some deep conviction. That central dense overcast is very impressive as she tries to get her act together. But we can see that this is just about it in terms of her intensity. The Hurricane Center is not really impressed on making her become a major hurricane at all. But we'll see if she actually beats the odds. There are a lot of warm water out there for her to work with. But we know that there's a lot of dry air out there as well. If we take a look at the other system right there off the coast of Africa, according to the Hurricane Center, they've stated a tropical wave is expected to move off the west coast of Africa by early Thursday. Thereafter, environmental conditions appear only marginally favorable for some limited development of the system while it moves westward or west-northwestward across the eastern tropical Atlantic and through the Cabo Verde Islands on Friday. And we see that they've given it both a 10% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days as well as within the next 7 days. And if one of these systems in yellow develop, we know the next name after Milton is Nadine, followed by Oscar. We'll see if we can even get as far as Patty, because boy, we know if especially Patty develops, especially if it comes close to Jamaica. You can just imagine the memes and the controversy regarding that name, because we know Patty, all of us love to eat in general. It would be quite the funny storm name in general, quite the meme of the century. If we take a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see the area that has a low chance of development right here across the waters to the north of Puerto Rico. We can see Milton right here, but this surface map was from earlier today, so it makes sense that we don't see this purple symbol that represents the hurricane closer to land like what we're seeing right now. We can see Leslie right here. You can see that there's a tropical wave actually affecting the eastern Caribbean as we speak. And to the east of Leslie, we have that ridge of high pressure that she's trying to curve around. To the south of the high pressure, we have a tropical wave right there to the west of the Cabo Verde Islands too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic, we can actually make out these entities. The tropical wave right there. You can also see the tropical wave right here across the eastern Caribbean. Leslie, the code yellow. We can see Milton. And we can see the tropical wave right there across the west coast of Africa that has a low chance of development. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, October 9, 2024. It was stated that parts of some southern parishes in Jamaica would have received some morning rainfall, then affect sections of some northern parishes during Wednesday afternoon, given that moist southerly flow that we've been highlighting yesterday. And just for reference, we know southern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on the bottom side of the island, like Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew, and St. Thomas. While northern parishes, we're talking about those parishes on top, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. And what ended up happening? As early as 4 a.m., the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted here on our Twitter page. And I want for you to keep in mind that these posts aren't only made here on our Twitter page at Weather Jamaica, but they're also made on our Instagram page at Weather.Jamaica, on our TikTok page at Weather Jamaica, and on our Facebook page at Weather Jamaica 876. So if you have one of those social media platforms, please ensure that you follow us there as we make posts throughout the day that you can't afford to miss. So the Cuban Doppler radar images were posted at around 4 a.m. and it highlighted the greens and the yellows that we can see by the key on the right that represent some light to moderate to some heavy rainfall, especially in the yellow, affecting sections of St. Thomas, sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon getting in on the mix, portions of southern Manchester, section of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland getting in on some of the action as well. And as the day progressed, that was the order of the day. Look at the visible satellite images that were posted at around 9:55 a.m. highlighting that low-level flow from the south to the north, just as predicted in yesterday's video. We can see the low-level winds pushing those low-level clouds, and then some of these clouds definitely developing, bringing some rainfall to especially southern Jamaica. Some of these clouds actually, becoming cumulonimbus in a sense, because we saw even a sparkling yellow dot right here across portions of Clarendon. They definitely got in on some amount of isolated thunderstorm activity. And then the final image that was posted at around 4:26 p.m. still was highlighting more of that flow from the south, but we can see that majority of the rainfall was still confined to more so a section of some central and western parishes, with eastern Jamaica getting in on more fair weather. So we saw that most of the brunt of the weather today coming in from the south with that southerly flow for sections of St. Catherine, Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, St. Anne as well. All of this pushing northward. And we saw that northern Jamaica got in on their fair share of rainfall in some spots too. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of Jamaica before the sun went down, let's see what was happening before all was said and done with the day. We can see the low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds. We got the thunderstorms across northern Jamaica. Even saw the high cold cloud toss being blown off towards the west, just as predicted in yesterday's video. And we can see the thunderstorms even better on the infrared satellite images. Look at the high cold cloud tops as represented by the blues, greens, yellows, oranges, reds to the north of Jamaica. Some of it affecting portions of St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland as well, for sure. And to confirm that we definitely had some rainfall today, we take a look at the live camera from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing the flat bridge, and we can definitely see how soaked the road is. As a matter of fact, this morning when I was getting into Kingston, there was definitely some amount of soaking for sure, to indicate that we definitely had some light to moderate rainfall coming in from the south with that southerly flow. So this does indeed confirm the rainfall across section of St. Catherine in the morning. This is about 7:33 a.m. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, you can visit See Jamaica. They also show live streams of the corporate area, Halfway Tree, Crossroads, the Kingston Harbor, the panoramic view, you name it. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out, because they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So you don't want to miss out just in case they install a camera in your neighborhood. And if we take a look at the accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website, this map does indeed paint a picture of how we had that rainfall across the island today, especially across sections of some central and western parishes with that moist southerly flow. That was the title of yesterday's video, more so wet southerly flow. Definitely had those clouds coming in from south to north across the island with some amount of moisture within them for the most part. So this map does indeed paint a picture of where we had the rainfall for sure. And we definitely have some of our commenters, some of our followers confirming the rainfall in their area today. We had First Genius stating it was heavy. Them timed it, that was 9 hours ago. We can also see on our Instagram page where the comments coming in. Tears drop _, stating yes, Portmore is getting rain. Berrylicious _ liven stating rain in Kingston 14 hours ago as well. We had Anqui Chin stating 3:30 a.m. thundering woke me up that the entire house, woke up the entire house, thought we were getting the hurricane. Portmore, my daughter was scared. We can also see Trishana Official here stating it's been raining from last night into this morning in Spanish Town. User.250404 stating been raining heavily in Portmore for from around 3 a.m. We also see here that we have Z _ mommy stating boy, I need some rain here in the Lucy area. If we take a look here, we can see Merlin _1God _ stating some rainfall in the 3 a.m. I _am _no _drama stating was raining in Spanish Town before 4 a.m. We can also see another comment here. Anto _Netty _89 stating it's currently raining here off Washington Boulevard. And even right here, we can still see some more comments coming in. This was about 2 hours ago. We had user.250404 stating little periods of showers, then sun, then showers again in Old Breton, Portmore. We also had Cherise.Brown5 stating rain right now in Clarendon Edwards Tanisha stating raining earlier in South Manchester. And then we have Slim underscore Queen underscore 1 stating having rain in St. Elizabeth. And finally, Roof Carlita stating rain in Gutters St. Catherine. So that indeed confirms the rainfall, especially across the southern portion of the island. And the thing is, this is going to be the same flow that we're going to be receiving tomorrow, the same southerly flow for the most part. So who knows, we might just get on some more isolated showers, especially across some southern patches. We'll see how that goes. Either way, if we take a look at the very latest infrared satellite image, the latest still image that just came out at 15 minutes past the hour. So this one just came out at 8:15 p.m. That was what, 15 minutes ago. We do see the high cold cloud tops, maybe some rainfall across western Jamaica, maybe western St. Elizabeth, some of that spilling into sections of Westmoreland. We'll see. As of right now, unfortunately, the Cuban Doppler radar has been glitching out from earlier today. It stopped right around 4:40 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3:40 p.m. Jamaica time. And we can definitely see where we had that moisture coming in from the south across portions of especially some southern parishes pushing northward. So mainly central and western Jamaica at that time. On the Guantanamo Bay Naval Radar Station website, not seeing much of Jamaica, but we do see some rainfall across portions of the waters of northern Cuba, some rainfall across the western peninsula of Haiti. Let's see if we can make out that rainfall on the Cayman radar for western Jamaica. Let's reload these images and see what we're seeing. So I think we can actually make out the rainfall right here in the blues for portions of western St. Elizabeth, eastern Westmoreland. So we're definitely having some rainfall right there for sure, which explains the cloud that we just saw, high cold cloud tops pushing off towards the west side. All makes sense. And we can also see some line, well, a line of showers right there pushing from south to north, or from southwest to northeast, for the most part to the east of the Cayman Islands. If we take a look at the very latest from See Jamaica's YouTube channel, this is as of 8:32 p.m. and we can see that it's definitely fair across the corporate area, people in their vehicles going about their business, people walking on the road going about their business. Definitely gonna be fair, but who knows, maybe we might get on some isolated showers later tonight, if not into early tomorrow morning, given that we still have that moist southerly flow. If we take a look at the temperatures right now, we can say we have 27 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 26 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow, this map from the GFS is valid for 18th on Thursday when calculated. That's about 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in some yellows. And we know the yellows represent at least 1 degree Celsius above normal temperatures. I don't know, the average or the normal temperatures for the month of October across Jamaica are about the same as 89 degrees Fahrenheit. When calculated, 89 degrees Fahrenheit is about the same as 31.6 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving anywhere from 31 to 32, maybe 32.6 degrees Celsius at most for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. So, you know the drill to beat the heat. Always dress down, wear light clothing, and use sunscreen. Eat fresh fruits. Try eating cold foods such as salads and fruit. You can't go wrong with watermelon, apples, grapes. And always stay hydrated. Walk with your bottled water. Even if you're not thirsty, if you're hungry, drink water instead. If you feel for that sugary drink water instead. Always stay hydrated throughout your day for sure. If we take a look at the Saharan dust forecast for 2 p.m. on Thursday, we can definitely make out some of the dust pushing from east-west across the Atlantic. Some of this actually making it into portion of the central Caribbean. But we can still see that for the most part, South America, the central to the western Caribbean, the Bahamas, North America, Central America still in the clear, as all the browns represent the Saharan dust should be across the main development region. Some of this definitely wrapping into Hurricane Helene right there. Some of this definitely making it as far as the ABC Islands, section of the Dominican Republic right here, Puerto Rico right here, the Leeward Islands, the Windward Islands still getting on some of that. So they might just be getting on some slight hazy skies. We're indeed grateful that we're not seeing those dark shades of browns that we know can cause, that's basically the vigorous plume of dust that we know can cause the very hazy skies and trigger respiratory illnesses from sinusitis, if not asthma, you name it. And we know all of this is going to be eventually pushing westward. So some of this might just make it into the Jamaica area later this week. Alright, so if we take a look at the wave forecast for tomorrow, we're still seeing that we still have those purples all the way up to the burgundies and orange colors that we know represent anywhere from 2 meter wave heights all the way up to what? Maybe 7, 8 or more meter wave heights, especially around the Gulf of Mexico to the east of Florida, where Milton is expected to be for tomorrow. While we also have high wave heights where we have the code yellow, as well as to the southeast of that where we have Leslie. And it all makes sense, because the winds are going to be strongest in those areas. The yellows, the burgundies, the purples, stretching all the way up to hurricane force right there to the east of Florida, if not tropical storm force. We can also see the wind circulating anti-clockwise around Leslie, as well as the winds right there to the northwest of Leslie too. Regarding the Caribbean, we can see that for the most part we're getting down those lighter shades of blues. The slightly darker shades of blues represent anywhere from 0.5 meter wave height to 1 meter wave height, and that's because the winds are not going to be that strong at all. We can see it pushing across the eastern Caribbean, more so from the east, pushing kind of northward with a curve from the east southeast, which explains why the Saharan dust is pushing in. We can still see across the western Caribbean that flow brought about by Milton, and then curving in and around the system. Jamaica, if we take a closer look, let's see if we can get a close-up of Jamaica regarding our winds for tomorrow. For tomorrow, still coming in from the south. Look at that. We still see that we're going to be having that southerly flow. So who knows, we might just get some more light to moderate, maybe even some slightly heavier rainfall from the south. And then we see all of the air still piling up across portion of some northern parishes. So we might just have some more of those low-level clouds becoming mid-level rain clouds, if not upper-level cumulonimbus clouds, especially on the north coast. During the afternoon, we've had that daytime heating. And with the upper-level wind still coming in more so from the east, we see that flow east, south, east, west, northwest, which explains why this is happening. Let's look back. This is what I'm talking about. We can definitely see the high cold cloud tops being sheared off towards the west. We can see all of these clouds being pushed off towards the west. When these clouds become cumulonimbus clouds, if not upper level storm clouds in general, they're being sheared off towards the west. So might bring more overcast skies to portion of western Jamaica, if not some light rain to those spots. And regarding rainfall, we can actually make out some rainfall, especially during the afternoon. Both the Euro and the GFS models are showing some consensus. Didn't see much consensus for the morning, but we can rule out some isolated shorts for section of some southern parishes. Again, who knows, maybe we might just get that rainfall, even although both maps are not showing it for the morning. We'll see how that goes. But the afternoon is where we see the consensus or the agreement for rainfall. And we definitely see it at around 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is actually 3 p.m. Jamaica time. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS are in consensus that the blues that represent rainfall should be affecting northern Jamaica, anywhere from western Portland into St. Mary, St. Anne, Trelawney, maybe even portions of St. James getting in on the action too. The Euro model showing something similar. As a matter of fact, the Euro model is trying to incorporate portions of some southern parishes as well, and we even see a blob of rainfall to the south of the island right there at that time. We'll see how all of that goes. Either way, both accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in consensus that there's going to be rainfall somewhere across Jamaica within the next 24 hours. This map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both showing all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 3Z on Friday when calculated. That's all the rainfall that's expected from now up until 10 p.m. on Thursday. And we do see the greens, we see the yellows across portions of the island, especially the northwest and the western portion of the island, GFS. Euro trying to incorporate more of central Jamaica. We know all of that represents anywhere from about 0.1 of an inch of rainfall all the way up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall. We'll see how all of that goes. Either way, we're grateful. We are in the month of October. During October, we shall receive the most rainfall across the island in general. In Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we shall receive about what? 170 millimeters of rainfall. When calculated, 170 millimeters of rainfall is about the same as about, let's say, 7 inches of rainfall, if I'm not mistaken. In Montego Bay, we usually receive 8.5 inches of rainfall. When calculated, 8.5 inches of rainfall is about the same as 212 millimeters of rainfall, if I'm not mistaken. So you can even visit weatherandclimate.com to find out about what your specific parish receives throughout the year in terms of rainfall. And you can use this nice little graphic here that converts the rainfall that we usually receive on the rain gauge from inches to millimeters. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall, so you can do the calculations yourself. Alright, so that's it for the forecast across Jamaica. Let us focus our attention on the rest of the Caribbean. Alright, let's reload these images so that we have the very latest. Hopefully it's not going to be glitching out. So as stated, we have Milton right here bearing down on Florida. To the east of Milton we have that code yellow. To the southeast of the code yellow we have Hurricane Leslie at that. Numerous tropical waves across the basin, one across the eastern Caribbean, another one right there to the northeast of South America. Clouds associated with the other tropical wave across the west coast of Africa. And we can see some isolated showers here and there across portions of the Caribbean. Usual rainfall across portions of Central America and Northern South America too. If we take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean, let's see what's happening right now, and then we're going to be looking at what happened earlier today. So we do see some spots of rainfall across the waters to the south of Puerto Rico, to the west of Puerto Rico. Not seeing much rainfall across the Leeward Islands. There's some spots here and there in and around Barbuda and Antigua, St. Martin right there. Let's see what we see if we load the images from earlier today. Not seeing much at all. We see more of a kind of an easterly, if not east-southeasterly flow, to signal that we're getting back in on that kind of pattern. We can even see it right here on the Barbados radar. Look at that line of rainfall to the east of Barbados heading in. Maybe some of that might affect portions of eastern Barbados tonight, some isolated shores. We see majority of it passing to the south of Barbados right here, heading into portions of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada right there. Maybe some heavy rainfall for portions of Grenada later on tonight, if not already. We can already see rainfall associated with the tropical wave affecting portions of Trinidad and Tobago as we speak. Maybe some isolated flash flooding might be taking place in some spots. If we take a look at the weather wave Doppler radar images, we can see Milton right there, bearing down on Florida. We can see the rainfall right here in and around the Dominican Republic and Puerto Rico. Some rainfall to the east of Nicaragua, some rainfall right there across portions of Colombia. And if we take a look at where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, we can definitely make out all of the greens, the yellows, the oranges, all the way up to the reds that represents close to 1 inch of rainfall. That's expected still for portions of Florida, the Bahamas, Cuba, section of the Cayman Islands, Jamaica. Look, we see the consensus on both the Euro and the GFS modes. We also see the rainfall for Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico. Look at the Eastern Caribbean, not seeing much, but we definitely see it across portions of the Windward Islands anywhere from Grenada southward. Trinidad and Tobago starting to get in on some more rainfall for portions of French Guiana, Suriname, section of coastal Guyana, Venezuela especially. Western Venezuela for sure. We see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in consensus with that. Even portion of Panama, Costa Rica, Colombia, section of Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, and even sections of Guatemala. Not seeing much happening across Belize, but portions of the northern coast of the Yucatan Peninsula might get on some isolated shores. And we see that both the Euro and the GFS modes are in consensus with this forecast. I know that when they're in consensus like this, the chances of it actually happening are much higher. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.